I'm Paul Huizinga. We're at CPR Engines in Gardena, California today to dyno test this engine, which is based around the World Products Motown 2 LS block. Now what makes this block really interesting is that it lets you put LS style intake, heads, all the upper components on what is basically a small block Chevy bottom end. That means you're going to be using a small block Chevy water pump, bell housing, oil pan, and engine mounts. This allows you to fit an LS style engine in basically any place where a small block Chevy once was. Now in part one of this series we took you through the entire build, but let's recap a little bit about what went into this engine. The parts used for this build include the World Products Motown LS engine block, which offers the small block Chevy and LS standard 4.4-inch bore centers to allow the LS induction parts to fit on top. It's also got a 9.240-inch deck height, so there's no milling or other tricks required to make LS heads and manifolds work properly. A lot of these components can be ordered directly from World Products. The block, timing chain set, water return kit, and valley plate can all be ordered at the same time. They also sent us the camshaft bearings and freeze plugs to ensure we had what we needed. The 55mm core camshaft requires an LS lobe location. It came from Urson, which is part of the World family and is designed specifically for this engine combination. The other Valvetrain components are a mix of parts from Howard's cams and competition products, including the 1.7:1 ratio rocker arms, the push rods, and the LS-style tie bar hydraulic roller lifters. JE LS-style pistons with small block Chevy-style wrist pins swing from a 4-inch stroke forged scat small block Chevy crankshaft and forged 6.125-inch scat connecting rods. In keeping with our theme of simplicity and performance in this build, we've selected a set of CNC-ported aluminum Airflow Research 245cc LS1 cathedral port cylinder heads. We ordered part number 1680, which comes with 64cc combustion chambers and is designed for a large bore engine like ours. The main and connecting rod bearings are from Clevite, and the harmonic damper is an internal balance small block Chevy unit from PRW. Now one of the big advantages of using this block as compared to an LS is that it's got a small block Chevy style crankcase instead of the Y block style that you find on the LS. That means we're going to have improved control over oiling, less windage, and better bay-to-bay breathing. And all of that oiling equipment is all standard small block Chevy fare. It's all from Moroso, the pump, the pickup, the windage tray, and the pan. Now all of the gaskets, from the head gaskets down to the oil pan, are from Victor Rines. Now we've also got some other small bits and pieces like the timing pointer, the hold down clamp, and our air filter that are from Spectre. This is all standard small block Chevy stuff. Fasteners are ARP from top to bottom, and they actually offer specific packages for this engine combination. Now for small finishing parts like the timing cover and the fuel pump block-off plate, we went with Proform, all standard small block Chevy parts to help keep costs down. Now obviously we're not using a factory-style EFI system on this. Instead, we've got an Edelbrock single-plane manifold topped by this Phytech Go EFI 8. Now what this is a throttle body EFI system that builds almost everything into the throttle body itself. It's got the injectors, it's got the ECU, it's got most of the sensors it needs other than the oxygen sensor and a coolant temperature sensor built right into it. Makes it super easy to install and really easy to get up and running. Now unlike a lot of other EFI systems on the market, the Phytech unit also includes spark control that doesn't need an external ignition or a special distributor. Now in this case we're using it with an all-in-one system from Davis Unified Ignition. One of the things I really like about the Phytech setup is that it's got a handheld touchscreen tuner that allows you to do all the setup stuff and all your tuning stuff without needing a laptop and makes it really easy to get this thing running. Well, now we've got everything set up, let's go ahead and test this thing and see what kind of horsepower we make. All right, time for the moment of truth. We put our Motown LS on the dyno, we broke it in, gave it a few partial pulls to let the Phytech EFI get itself sorted out, find the right air-fuel ratio, and then we did our real pulls. Now, we had some pretty high expectations for this engine, and let me tell you, we met and exceeded them. Our peak torque, 603 foot-pounds at 5,200 RPM. Our peak horsepower, 682.1 at 6,500 RPM. This is going to be a fantastic street motor. Remember, we're running this on pump gas. I'd really like to thank Martin and all the guys here at CPR for helping us out with this build. Be sure and check out part one so you can see how the engine went together, and keep it right here for a whole bunch more cool stuff.